Okay, so welcome everyone to Air Talks number 12. 13.
That's a good start.
13.
14.
So Fred's going to start, and then hopefully by the time he finishes, Mr. Lee will be here. And if not, then okay, we do
Improvise.
improvise.
Thank you, Sarah. So today I'm gonna talk about something that I actually talk about every day. ASANA. And more specifically, how to make me happy using ASANA the right way. So there are many things I like about ASANA, and I've tried many tools in the past, including Redmine, Trello, Jira, and some others. And I always come back to ASANA because I think it's the best tool, in particular because it's very flexible. You can do many things with ASANA. There's not one way to use it, but several ways. You can do use it as a CRM, ATS, for sprint development, project management, roadmap, checklist, meeting agenda. There are so many things you can do with it. But the bad thing about it is that it's so flexible that people can tend to use it in very different ways, and everybody has his own set of rules, which can get very messy when you work with many people using it in very different ways. So at Air, more specifically, we use it. I try to look at what's currently ongoing on ASANA, and there are three types of tasks. There are personal tasks, so tasks that don't belong to any project, and those tasks, I don't know if you know, but they are private. So if you have some task and you don't want to share it with anybody else, you don't assign those tasks to any project, and only you will be able to see them. Any other tasks are either related to a project, but we also have a separate usage, which is the ATS, the applicant tracking system for hiring, where tasks are not tasks per se, but people's names. But for this presentation, I will just focus on project management mainly. So why is ASANA a crucial tool for me? Sometimes I try to remind people, like, update your task or your due dates and everything, but it's not just for the sake of having the ASANA use my way, just because it's the tool that I use every day to track how we are going and to prepare the sprint, as well as any other strategy related to the projects we're working on. But that's a tool to make sure that everybody's assignment is clear and understood. When we have a meeting and we say, like, Edo is going to work on this and that, then I can check if, based on ASANA, Edo understood that. Make sure that all tasks are on time, so using due dates, and see how these due dates fail week after week, for instance. But when we have like KPIs and goals we want to reach, and more with Vibe, for instance, that's something that we try to improve. Having due dates is very important to see if this is feasible over the course of several months. But many other things. That's also a communication tool. We use mainly Slack for communication, but you can communicate through ASANA. Not everything has to be on Slack, especially when it only matters for the PO and the person doing the tasks. And having all this knowledge related to a task inside the task is a great way to centralize this knowledge in one single place. Another thing, check deadlines, manage dependencies. That's something I talked at last meeting. For instance, now, like, Junji is working on some task, and Eto is waiting for Junji finish those tasks before starting some of the tasks, and that's something easier to manage with a tool like ASANA. So
you can use both those.
This has many advantages. So I tried to come up with, like, some very basic rules. Some of them may appear very obvious, but sometimes it's good to remind the obvious because apparently it's not obvious to everybody. So one thing that's really important is try to name your task so that your grandma will get it. What I mean is just, like, sometimes tasks are not clear. Like, just the title needs to make sense to anybody in the room, in the team. It's good that to have a short name, clear name, and also start with a verb. Some good example would be like revise strategy document or design feedback feature. These are things that anybody in the team can understand. Bad examples that I've seen would be just like meeting or price change or Facebook campaign, CR, whatever. This doesn't mean anything. We don't know For instance, it's like a Facebook campaign. If it's to design the campaign, to launch the campaign, to review the campaign, if it's to do the imagery for the campaign, it could be many, many things. So having a verb really try to help clarifying that.
What if you're doing all of them?
Create separate tasks.
Oh.
As simple as that.
So,
What about if you make one task like that and have subtasks?
I'm going to talk about subtasks.
Oh!
We're getting there. We're getting there.
And what if your grandma is a psychopath? Sorry.
ASANA won't help.
Another thing that's really important is try to make your task as small as possible. This is not necessarily for the people, but it's for the person doing the task. The reason being, if you have a massive task, it's going to be really hard to know where to start. Let's take the example of a newsletter. That's something that we do every week, and there are several steps doing that. And you need to decide on the content, create the content, put the content into the design, have the content reviewed, or vice versa. Make the newsletter test, email, and finally launch the campaign. There are several steps. If you just have one task, which is like newsletter or send newsletter, you don't know where to start. You're likely to do it the wrong way, and it may take actually more time in the end. So it's good to break it down into small steps. You can use subtasks for that matter, but if it's a very big task, the premium feature, for instance, for Vibe, we had this one big task premium feature, and I asked it to break it down because that's a task that could take like more than a month to develop with many people involved and many.
September 2016, 17.
Yeah.
17.
So
One task with due date.
as a general rule, it's good if a task at max fits in a workday or less. Break down big tasks like I like this example. I think it's in the book The 4-Hour Workweek. Richard Branson was running Virgin, the music production company, when he decided to start the airline. He talks about it. The very first task to do that, which is a big thing. You know, you're running a music production business and you want to start an airline. It's not it's like, where do I start? And his very first task was to call for Boeing, I think, to know how it would be to lease an airplane for a year and under what condition. That was just a phone call. So his task was actually feasible in 15 minutes maybe, or half an hour. So it's a very, very small task. But it allows you to know where actually you should begin. And as a general rule, I like to avoid using subtasks, not necessarily because it's bad, but because I think on ASANA, it's not, there are many drawbacks doing that. It doesn't manage the tasks pretty well. For the visibility purpose as well, it's not so clear. And unless it's really like a checklist, I'd rather have a different task for that. All tasks should have one signee. I think now that's something that's people doing pretty well now in the team. It was not necessarily the case before. But why one assignee? And it's a good rule in general, because if no one is assigned, no one is accountable. That's pretty obvious. But also if more than one person is assigned, no one is accountable either, because everybody is relying on everybody else to do it.
Yeah, but what if it's impossible to do?
Likewise.
Clear programming.
You can't, in ASANA, you cannot provide two assignees.
That's the thing. That's the good thing about it.
That's
Clear programming.
But you can have no
Clear
assignment.
programming.
Yeah,
Consider
exactly.
a child.
But see, there's also a secret feature, right?
I don't know about that.
Do you know about this one?
Secret feature?
There's a feature where you can like undo due dates and no one's notified.
Obviously that's secret.
Scary.
You can just remove due date.
Actually, you can make more than.
Actually, I'm notified because I have the integration now with that.
Actually, it's in ASANA you can, but it's a trap. You can make more than one assignee on a task, but it will make copy of the task, which is totally stupid.
But
No, I don't think it's stupid. And we've seen that with some of the managers meeting that we have at the end of the managers meeting. For instance, we used to have like Mike do this, JB do that, and for some items we had all do this. And usually the all do this tend to be the things that nobody does.
No, Fred.
Well, I don't.
That's the whole
Fred,
point.
you get it, man.
Yeah. So the thing is, if you have more than one person doing it, or that should do it, you should still choose one person that the one accountable, and he should be the one reminding everybody else to do it as well. But you still should have like one person accountable. You can create several tasks as well. But if it's asynchronous, for instance, something that is back and forth, you can just like reassign the task as you go. We do that, for instance, with I think the newsletter or maybe some other task. For the review, you can change this from him to myself, and when I review, I'll pass it back to him. That's also possible.
Actually, I use subtasks.
I use subtasks.
And also I'm using subtasks.
Yes.
Yes.
But that's good. That's where that works well as well. All tasks should have a due date. That's also obvious. But
Even if it's projected.
even if the due date is not here to be right. Most of due dates won't be right, and that's fine. But what it forces people is to be accountable first. Like it allows people to put a limit on their work. You know, like just one example. Like Kila was doing some research initially when she first started. That was on the emoji, and I asked her like to come up with some analysis on how to analyze emoji and try to extract the emotion out of that. A research like this can be done in 1 or 2 days and give some first results. And it can be like a 4-year thesis where you can have like a real paper with a lot of insights. So putting a due date, it just gives a limit on how far you want to go. And also it forces you to say like, at that point I stop. And if it's too big, then maybe you should do something else, or you should like review the task description. But it's a signal, it gives a signal. But at least it's very good to try to assess your own work. What time do I think it should take? And if I take more time, then maybe there is a problem. I need to either do it the next day because it can be done. In that case, that becomes a priority. Or you need to reschedule because you maybe misunderstood how big the task was. That's usually the case. We tend to be over-optimistic. Or you can simply delete the tasks because sometimes it's just something that you keep postponing, and you keep postponing it precisely because it's not that important. And if it's not that important, maybe you shouldn't do the task at all. So there are many things and actions you can take when you see that the due date is passed. And that's a signal that you take. If there is no due date, then it's an information missing for you to take actions. Share knowledge by keeping your task up to date. Again, that's something I explained in the beginning. The good thing with Asana is that the knowledge is centralized in the task. If the task is rather big, or like the newsletter with the subtask, everything is in there. Slack is good, but if that's something that we talked about yesterday, it's going to be hard to find about it. So Asana keep it all centralized, and it doesn't have to be to make some noise for the people to see. It's just there. So it's good to either update the due date, update the description, make some comments, share some links. It's very well done, and people can be notified as well. One thing that you can add, you probably all know about it already, but you can add followers for people to be notified if they need to. Just use the @mark, same as Slack.
The other thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Like I don't know if you have this. Okay, keep going.
Use section for milestone. That's something on Asana. There's this thing where you can create sections. So sections, it's not the tasks per se. It's more like it can be several things. It depends on, again, how people want to use it. I tried actually different ways of using it. For instance, I first started with on Vibe, tried to use by domain. I had like the marketing task, the design task, the development task. I thought this is maybe good for me like to sort it out, but I found that maybe tags would be more appropriate for that. And instead, I think using it for milestones, and I look at the different use case for on Asana website on what are like the best practices, and using it for milestones is actually a good way. So milestone could be KPIs, development features, as we are doing it right now, or hiring stage on the ATS is all the tasks that are that need to be accomplished to accomplish a bigger goal. And this goal could be the release of a big feature, it could be the hiring of somebody, it could be set some to attain some KPIs. But this milestone is the goal that we want to reach, and all the tasks that would fall under it, the marketing could be features, could be many other things, are actions that we need to take reach that goal. To create a section, very simple. You just add a how do you call it? A semicolon? Column. After the name of the task, and you create a section. Mas asked me, how do I put a task in a section a while ago, so I just added here. You can either drag and drop the task. You can also create the task directly under the name of the section. Also, there is, if you go to ASANA, which is not here, so I won't show it. Can I?
Yeah.
No. ASANA. That's something that is not obvious, but next to Sala, this one, next to the project name, you have a little drop-down menu. You go to Vibe, and you go like to import new Office video clip, and you go here. You have next to Vibe this little drop-down menu, and you can also select the section here where it belongs to.
That's good.
Not this one here. Use repeating tasks for recurring work. There are tasks that we do either every day, every week, every month. And a great way to not forget to create those tasks and do those tasks is to do repeating work. I really like the way it's done on ASANA because it's very flexible. You can do like daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Could be every 2 weeks on Wednesday and Fridays. That you can go to that level of customization. Or it could be periodically. It's like 8 days after completion. I use that, for instance, for weekly meetings. Like for the sprint meeting, I have a task like prepare sprint meeting. This kind of thing. I don't have to create this task every week. It's there. I fill out fine every first of the month. Or for goal setting review, what I do with either Sumir or Joshua, or for the interns, for the all hands meeting, all these kind of tasks, they are scheduled, they are set on repeat, and I don't need to think about it anymore. So if you have repeating tasks, that's one way to do it. The faster with shortcuts. There are lots of shortcuts. I love shortcuts for any type of software. Here is ASANA is all tab plus something. The one that I use the most is tab Q, and Q is very easy to remember because it's just next to tab. That's to create a new task. So you do tab Q, and then you can fill out everything. And from tab Q, you can set up the name, and then tab D, set up the date, tab P, project, tab M, assigned to me. Actually, if you do tab Q, it's already assigned to you. And then validate, so you can create a task super easy. That's pretty convenient. You can see all the shortcuts here. This matter with app integrations. Again, we use a few integrations ourselves. I'm currently trying to test Instagram for the project, so I can see all the tasks like this, so I can see dependencies if we're about to reach the goals. Also, Edo created a while ago, but it was kind of polluting the general channel, so I created a separate channel, Vibe-ASANA. If you want to be part of it, please have a look, but that's just for ASANA task updates. It's up to you to join or not.
Everything.
What's that?
Everything in ASANA.
No, just you select the project, so I just selected for Vibe. But there are so many other integrations. I invite you to have a look. I think it's also linked with GitHub, Edo. So you can also have the synchronization between ASANA task and GitHub. It's fantastic. So how do I manage my tasks very quickly? Some people think I'm a freak, and I just wanted to share that a little bit. What I do every morning, my very first task every day, I go to ASANA, I click on my task, and I copy paste all my tasks into a Google Doc. And then what I do next is I put like minutes by minutes what I'm going to do that day.
You're all creep.
But the good thing is that I kind of have a view of what's possible to achieve that day. And you can plan for lunch, you can plan for the meetings. I also add the meetings in my calendar. I put them into that. But why do I do that? It helps me also to prioritize. When I have my list of tasks, I try to identify the 2 or 3, usually even like the 1 or 2 most important tasks of the day. And I put them first in the morning. So that I know whatever happens, this needs to be done at the end of the day. If you don't do that, what you're going to do, you're going to do the easy task, the task that you like to do, the easy one. You do it in the morning, and the important task, or the most usual, which are usually the tasks that you don't want to do, they keep being like postponed and postponed again. And the easy to do task, if you want, you can identify them as well and put them last. Also, there is some research backing that. I think it depends on people, but at least I tend to be more analytical and do like anything that requires like heavy brain processing in the morning and at night or later in the evening, which is after 3 for me. I tend to be less analytical and more creative. And it's proven that you're actually more creative the more tired your brain is. So you'd rather do those type of tasks later in the day. And that's about it. So how do you manage your task? If it can be improved, try to use ASANA the right way. At least it will make me happy. Thank you.
Questions? Yeah, I do. Actually, my first question is that I'd like to move toward, to propose, we move toward together. We move toward a way of working where we would assign each other tasks if you want somebody to react. Because I think what happens is we say something on ASANA, we say something on Slack, like, hey, do this or whatever. Then the person actually has to go manage their own task, right? Otherwise, I mean, you can just go straight to ASANA, write the task in, assign them, it's already in their list. Like, you don't have to, you can save your time, like, going through this kind of...
So you would rather have people assign tasks to other people rather to expect the other people to create themselves?
In meetings, you don't even have to do it, you can do it inside the meeting. We're already doing that as a manager's meeting, or at least with a lot of other people. I mean, I'm doing that, trying to. But yeah, it's helpful that way, because then you know that you can react, somebody will react to it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't rely on the step where it takes them to another program to enter it in.
I mean, I like that. And Ken is already like assigning me tasks, for instance.
And it's using the tool correctly, actually.
For me, it's easier. I agree. I don't think maybe everybody has a different feeling. I think the risk with that, what I like when somebody creates their task themselves is that they can do the whole process of setting the name that makes sense to them, setting the due dates that they think is appropriate, and add the description using their own words. I think that's the advantage of having people creating their own tasks. But I also see the drawbacks, people not creating it at all, and you forgetting about it, which makes also like the task kind of disappear.
And there's lots of things flying around. We haven't really reached that point maybe yet, but when there's too much going on, and you ask somebody to do something through Slack, it's going to get lost. And we're just waiting for something. Oh, I told you on Slack. Well, it's like, well, you could have just assigned me that.
Actually, you can create a task on ASANA from Slack. There's the Slack integration.
There you go.
So you have like the
Yeah, but it's a bit shit. You cannot
Slack,
like
ASANA, add people, name of the task, due date. Yeah.
My second question is, like, how do you find out like the flexibility when you taskify your whole day? I mean, I know it's really important, and I think I envy that. I mean, I think it's really cool. I would sometimes do that, but how do you, like, when something else happens or
That's taken into account. So I'm very loose on the time box that I'm using because I know that I have to take like bathroom breaks like everybody else. They're gonna be like the meeting that is not planned, and it's still like, why not having this 15 minutes discussion? I know all of these happen. Sometimes there's the unexpected that's gonna take you half the day, and that's okay. But as a general rule, it's still good to.
You're not gonna explode.
What's that?
You're not gonna explode.
No. I think for me, you think it's tiring doing that. I think it's less tiring because once it's out of my brain somewhere, I don't need to think about it.
Okay.
It's just I outload all of my brain on those software and agendas so that I don't have to think about it. It's just like, what do I do next? It's written somewhere. I don't need to think. So actually, that saves me energy.
So opening line sometimes.
Yeah, we should do that. That's like assign me a task for that. Then it's
Small question.
yes.
I used to use Asana, I think, 3 years ago, the last time. I think even the design pretty much changed. But the question is, did they still use? Is a feature of this like hard or like is still around?
Yeah, you can like a task.
Hmm?
Absolutely. And you can, I think you can also like an update on the task.
But do you use it?
Like very, very rarely. I think probably like once or twice a month. It's almost like a
What you could do, for example, if you have the habit of prioritizing your shitty tasks, the tasks you don't want to do, and mark them as important, you just give them the hard. It's like I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do this first thing today. You help them.
The
Make a connection.
Yeah.
The icon should be a bit different than.
Essential functionality.
Fred gives all of the tasks a big part. They're all. I love that. I love this. I love
No
this.
more than 3 priorities.
Okay, any other questions? We're out of time nearly for this. No? Okay.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
For the next one, Mr. Lee is going to have to use his laptop. So I'll try to follow on the presentation.
To charge.
Not on the presentation online.
I can share.
Just for the recording. But then when you for the coding part, sure,
David will like it.
It would be too strong if I was.
Can you break the internet?
Oh, they have a crappy speech setup. So if you do like this,
Oh, yeah.
it will look. If I do this,
The whole room.
the thing is,
That means
Recycle,
I think.
yeah.
If you actually plug your laptop in this, you can do what we call
Yeah, but
air poisoning.
we're gonna
Basically,
close
you
them
can
over there.
sneak
I said
the
the
network
ventilator.
on your
Isn't there a ventilator
all
on
the
that side?
passwords of everyone.
I did that, I remember, from a
We
booking
turn, Ed turned on
on a public Wi-Fi. You,
yeah,
you got
this
the,
is the book, yeah.
This is a bit.
This way we can all smell Darren's sweat.
Okay, let's start, guys.
Okay,
so we
should
make it
I
echo
start?
But the good thing is you have all the network on you.
Okay.
You need to teach me something.
Today I will try to give you an introduction of the React Native. And when I'm talking, if you have a question, you can ask, and I will try my best to answer. But maybe I cannot because I started to touch it 2 weeks ago. So first, I will split the talk to 3 parts. And first, I need to introduce a little bit of the React, because React Native use totally the same concepts of the React. So first, let's look at what is React. React is a JavaScript library for building user interface. The important is it's only building user interface, no other stuff. It's not a framework, it's just a library to build the UI part. And it has 3 core concepts. First one is virtual DOM. This is the reason why React is it is said faster than other framework like AngularJS and Vue.js, and because React maintain the whole components in memory as a virtual DOM, and it always holds the whole structure. And when the components have some different diff from the user action, and React will calculate the diff first in the virtual structure, and as a result, it will render the diff part, only the diff, to the real normal part. As you say,
Is it a dirty checking, or what kind of diff is it? Is it just to check if the elements are dirty and need to be redrawn, or what?
for example, I don't have the picture, but for example, there is the root component for example, if this web, it will be the body element. And if the user did some click on a button and you want to add a new elements under the body, and so the virtual DOM will calculate the elements added to the body, and only as a result you add one element to the body. Yeah. And the second concept is declarative component. React use we always use the syntax JXX to write React, but it's not necessary. You can also write pure JavaScript. But as the JX, if you use the JSX, you can write the XML style stuff inside the JavaScript. Actually, it will, if you write it in pure JavaScript, it will try to translate it to some function called. As you can see here, you have a div and have a inert text hello through proper name, and you translate to React create element and pass the name div and the text hello and the proper. And then you can run every React component has a render function, and you can return the UI part from the render function. And when you use the component, you can use the React DOM to call on the render on real elements of the real DOM part to render the component on it. It will replace the content returned from the render will replace the content of the DOM. There's a pure script view like this. And yeah, the most important thing is you can reuse components you made with React. So you can use the component you made. For example, the to-do list. You can make the to-do list as a component, and you can use it as a DOM name to just like the div, like a div, and pass the necessary information to it to initialize it. And the last feature of the React is the one-way data flow. As you know, AngularJS has a two-way data binding, and it is said it's slow to manage the whole data structure and to monitoring all the data changes. So React changed a simple way to do the data flow. It has only one way data transformation. It always transforms the data from the parent to the children. And when some user action or some changes occur on the children, and you use the event cycle to tell the roots elements about the change, and the roots will spread all the changes to its children and at last to the leaves. And this is be faster than the two-way data binding, but because you don't need to always watching the changes on all the changes on the data, you always handling on the events. And as you see, I will try to explain it a bit. As you see, a component is React. A component can receive the proper. Actually, the proper is the data passed from the parent. As you see, you can proper the name equal John and John as a proper, and you can get the value inside the element inside the component. And every time when the proper changes, the render function will be recorded to re-render the component. And yeah, the next is about the React Native. Actually, React Native use the whole all the three concepts in the same way of the React. Actually, it's built based on React. As we said, the virtual DOM system, and actually this part, the real DOM, you can render the virtual DOM to any shape you want. Usually, if we use the on browser, it will render to HTML, and the React Native is another way to render all the virtual DOM to the native component. So React Native is just a way to use React to build the real native mobile apps. And this is the one concept right on the whole page of React. Is learn once, write anywhere. Learn once, it means you learn React once, and you can write both the web and the mobile, and even in the future you can try to render it to any other parts, even use it on the server side. And I want to explain React Native APK is a real mobile APK. It's not like Angular to build the hybrid application. It's not a mobile web application. It's not a HTML5 application. It has no UI view. As you know, AngularJS is a single page application. The whole application runs under a UI web view. The code bar just operates inside the native application, and it have only real native components. You cannot use web elements. You can only use the components defined by the library or developed by some other user. And maybe you have a question why you write all the stuff with native components, but it can run the JavaScript inside the native system. This is because both Android and iOS has provided a method to run JavaScript code inside the native application. For iOS, it has a JS context. When you can leave a JS context object, and when you leave a JS context, it will generate a clean Java runtime, and then you can initialize the variables and execute the JavaScript as strings. And React Native just use the JS context to build all the JavaScript inside the one file as a bundle file, and then throw all the file to the JS context, and to run the JS code inside the native application. Yeah, as I say, the React Native will try to render the virtual DOMs to the native components, no web element. Okay, and maybe as a demo, it will be more easier to understand. And React Native, like the React, has a very detailed document, and if you can follow the link, you can just build your own application very easy. Actually, using React Native, you can just only have this command to install the CLI. And yeah, I installed it. And you can use the command to initialize a project. And because this command just will take you more than 5 minutes, I think, to download all the Node.js dependencies. So I did it, and I will try to give the demo.
Should build something?
Yeah, I did it first. So I use the CLI. You can say the React Native. yeah, I use this command to initialize the Air talk demo project. And inside the project, you will see it has three JS files. The one is the app1. This is a file to hosting the JS code when you run the application in your development model. And the index Android.js and the index iOS.js is the entries file of the whole application. And you can try to look a little bit in the index iOS1. And from the React Native library, you can use lots of components already defined by React Native. Actually, if you use all the components, you can build a very basic application. And if you want to use some customized components, you can also search on Google. And currently, lots of the third-party library is provided. And okay, so when you want to start the application, you can use the React Native command to just run iOS or run Android. It will try to run the simulator. But today I want to show you how to run it on the real device. So I will use another way to open the iOS project in Xcode. When you open the Xcode, you will see it has a main.js bundle file. Actually, this is all the JS code, all the JS runtime code required by the React Native, and it will be bundled in one JS file. And you can try to
include your application logic, or is it only React?
No.
Or does it include your code as well?
Yes. Also, the whole React part includes your own code.
So everything.
Yes.
Okay.
And this project is based very standard iOS project, and the only thing you need to concern about is React Native build commands. This is a pre-commands when you click the run command. When you click the run button, it will run the command first. This command will try to package all the stuff into this file. Let's run it. So now it's trying to run the shell script as we defined here.
Does it mean if you use React Native,
yes,
you're dependent on React updating the bridges to the native components?
Yeah.
So if there's, I don't know, a new web view or whatever, like a new interface component in Android or in iOS, you have to wait until they update it so you can use it in JavaScript.
Actually, if you use React, actually you may be to learn how to build your own component. Yeah, actually how to bridge the new component to your own library. And okay. First you can try to search if some other user already built it. If not, you can build your own one. It's very easy. And the document gives you very detailed samples of how to build your own components. And as you see, because I run the application in a development model, so the application will not try to load the file, local file. It will try to load the remote file hosted by the Apple.js. I should use the Apple.js part. This is for the dev model, just to try to. I will show the feature to try to reloading. When you run it in a dev model, it can support a reloading feature. So currently, it will host the bundle file in local, and you can access it from your application. As a production model, it will access the local file and not the remote one. As you see, I capture the screen of my phone here, and you can see the code. I'll comment on something I want to show you later. And currently, it has only a view and the text part. Both the view and the text are defined by the React Native. You can import it from the React Native library. And here's one thing I want to say. As you see, it is very like the web DOM. You can use the style. You can use style attributes to define some very CSS-like stuff. But actually, this is not a CSS. It's all the properties you can use. It should be supported by the native. And both Android and iOS support the flex box, so you can use the flex. And the first view, because flex is specified by 1, so it will show as a full screen. And the text part, it specified to text in the center, so you will see text will be spread by center. And you can add some change here. Welcome to AI Talk demo. And you save this, and you can shake your phone. If you give your menu, and you can tap the reload. It will reload the application for you. So you will say that the native component changed. You just change some JavaScript, but the native component changed. Yeah, this is supported by React Native for the development model. Because when you change something, it will rebuild the stuff and rehost the bundle file. And when you try to tap the button reload, it will try to reload the JavaScript file and rerun the whole application.
Does it have hard reloading?
Yes. At the same time, when you enable the live reload, so I can enable it. And now you will see you can will make some difference here and see it will change. And real time.
Close to real.
Yeah. I forgot to save it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think if you have some experience to develop some native application, you will be very, you are being buoyant of if you make any changes, you need to review the whole stuff. And React just reduce all the hard stuff and all the pain from you. You can just see what you want to see. And yeah, this is the very. And now you built your own native application, and you can try some other components provided by React Native, like the image one. If you have some experience to development the native application, you will know you need to write, I think, more than 10 lines to show or remote image on your application. But with the React Native, you just need to write very HTML-like elements and pass the URL and specify some style, and you will see the logo.
I'm not rebuilding the client again.
And also,
Dennis, what?
I think for when we build some application on AngularJS, it's very hard to do the very native-like animations. But because React Native is a real native application, so it just you can do all the animations supported by native, like the swipe. I already read it. It is supported by the pound responder provided by React Native. You have some thing you can config. Currently, I only config to support the move, and I monitor the move stuff. And when I swipe up, I will show alerts. You swipe up, and I will swipe down. You will see the alerts swipe down. It's very easy to use the native animations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Left
Actually, you can find a library.
Swipe diagonally.
Yeah, currently there is already a library to support the handle card. I use the React Native. And also another stuff, I think it's also pain to simulate the button style. Very native-like button is a hard way to simulate it. Use the PhoneGap. And React Native provides a touchable highlights component to support the touch event. And so I use it. You can see when I hold it, it will highlight a very black background. And when you click it, it will show an alert that you can handle the on-press event. What you will see is it uses the native component, but it's not very native-like. It's just like a web. So I think everybody is using React Native. Will say the touchable highlight is not easy to use. So I try to search a button library if somebody already implemented and it is there. It's a React Native button. And use the npm to install it, and then you in your code you can import the button from the library, and then you can use the library. It's very easy to use. It's just the button, and you can have the on-press. And now you will see this one is more native-like. When you hold it, you like more native background color. So when you use this, you want to use some component, you can try to search it on Google first, and if there's nothing there, you just try to build your own one. And as you say, all the content is very packed here. Because if you use the Flexbox, you can just change the style. And next to have some space around and looking better. But this is a very demo to show you how to use how to structure the native components with the right structure. And actually you can, this is a component, and I registered it directly to the app registry. So it will comes with the roots component. And actually you can build your own other component and to use it inside the root one, and to try and to consider your own structure to build the big application. And another thing I want to introduce is the integration with the existing applications. I think when you try to build some phone app application with AngularJS, it's not very easy. It's very easy to try to bridge some native components inside your Angular application, but it's not easy to build some component with AngularJS and use it in your existing applications. But React Native provided a way to build the components with React Native and use the component inside your existing applications. And it have very detailed documents, both for iOS and Android. If you have interest, you can read it. I think this is currently is the main way. Is the main because I asked someone to how they use React Native now, and they say they not use the whole. They don't build the whole application with React Native. They just try to use when they want to build some feature, and both for Android and for iOS, and they don't want to write the Swift and Java code to build the same functionality twice. So they try to use React Native to build the components both for iOS and Android, and then with the documents to integrate the components to their existing application. I think this is the current main way how people using React Native.
So that way you don't have to change your previous code to this one. Just the new ones you just integrate to that.
Because you can, I think, because I'm familiar with iOS development, and we always use Cocoa Path to management libraries. We want to use, and the React Native provides some Cocoa Pose library to help you to very easily integrate React Native to inside your application. And it have also demo for it. If you have interest, you can look into it. And today, I just introduced the very brief stuff about it, and I hope we can have some chance in the future to try it in our project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I think Sumire has a question on Slack.
Really.
Is it hard to learn?
Yes, very
Actually, it's compared to the real native development, it's much easier to learn. And compared to the AngularJS part, maybe you need to change your mind to, because you cannot use any web things. You need to use all the native stuff. As you say, you will say here we can use a style sheet, but all the properties should be supported by the native component. You cannot use the web stuff.
So you need to learn it.
Yeah.
You need to learn the native components.
Actually, you can, as a passerby, you can to wrapper your own customized component to wrap all the property name to the web name, like the image one. As you see, you can use the width and height.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the library wrappers the property to a web-like style.
Is there anything you don't like?
Hmm?
Is there anything you don't like about React?
Yeah.
What don't you like about React? Is there anything negative?
Negative. The negative thing, it's just the library is still very new and it's just fresh. So there is not so many people is using it now. So if you try to start it, maybe you will meet some trouble and you need to try to look into the source code to find your own way to resolve it. But actually, the population of the React Native is raised very fast. So maybe we can just wait a little bit and use it in the future. And if you have anything, you can try it now.
For your business logic, would you completely, for example, use what was it called, Flux? For React to have your application logic, and then you can reuse that across Android and.
Yes, you can actually React Native based on React. So like the Fluxy, you can use the same data management inside the React Native part. Actually, you can use everything in the same way. Just change the components with the native ones.
Question.
Yes.
The actual kind of what you can do with it, I think it's like feature-wise is more or less similar with what PhoneGap and native provides. So it's at least for me it's not so much interesting. But the interesting part is because Apple also open source Swift.
Yes.
And you can build Swift application.
Yeah.
So to say, without I guess frameworks that's available natively for Mac and iOS, but you still use a compiler to build the code in a Linux.
Yes.
So the question is it possible to have a build environment that allows to build application code independently from the platform?
I think because React Native doesn't provide the new way to build the application, it just breeds the components from native to JS. So you also need the same environment to build it.
So you still need to use iOS toolchain and Android toolchain for the last step of building.
For those components, it will be like transpiled into native code, or will it somehow during runtime interpret this rendering stuff and map it also? Will it be like
it's a bridge? When you try to display the native component, it will have some method call from the JavaScript code to the native code.
So there's a penalty in performance then?
Yeah, but actually Android doesn't do that, but iOS did that to ensure the JS context the performance. It can have very equivalent performance when you run JavaScript and native, almost the same. Yeah, it is supported by the core itself.
Still a bit weird.
For example, Android, you define.
You write HTML, which is not HTML, with JavaScript, which is not JavaScript, with CSS, which is not CSS.
React Native also mentioned if you want to write some multiple thread stuff, you should use the native stuff.
This was a failure. Why?
Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you for the fair talks. And next one will be in probably 4 weeks. Thank you for the talkers, speakers, and I'll send you a message for the survey, for the weekly survey.
This cup.
Green.
A couple of songs in one.
Maybe give it a try. It's kind of simple.